Right now at noon, a city council vote to suspend the mayor overturned just 2 days later.
And temperatures heating up and a couple of stray clouds out there. We'll talk about our day today and the first day of summer coming up.
Plus, an Iranian missile strikes an Israeli hospital as the conflict between the countries approaches 1 week.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Elise Snowy. The search for a body continues for a second day following a train and pedestrian crash. One juvenile is dead and authorities are still searching for another juvenile after the accident yesterday afternoon in Neosho County, Kansas. It happened at the Trestle Railroad Bridge over the Neosho River south of Erie, Kansas. According to the Kansas Highway Patrol, 16-year-old Arthur Polaries of Walnut, Kansas, and 12-year-old Colin Showalter of Erie, Kansas, were running on the bridge when they were hit by a Union Pacific train. Authorities have recovered one body, and at last report, they were still searching for the second juvenile. State officials have been helping with a ground and air search. The sheriff says the Neosho River is high, making conditions harder to deal with. He asked the public to steer clear of the area. The sheriff says the families have been notified and law officers' hearts go out to them. Well, in a turn of events, Carl Junction Mayor Mike Moss was back in the chair at Tuesday night's city council meeting just days after the council voted to suspend him. The discussion to suspend Mayor Moss started during the May 20th City Council meeting. Councilmember James Shanks had filed a complaint alleging Mayor Moss made inappropriate comments about female city employees. The council unanimously agreed to hire Lauber Municipal Law to investigate the complaint. During the June 3rd meeting, council members voted 6-2 to suspend the mayor. However, 2 days later, Moss was back at work in the mayor's office. City Administrator Steve Lauber confirmed the motion to suspend Moss was unlawful under city code. Both the city attorney and outside legal counsel supported Lauber's decision. Now let's head over to Chris Warner for first weather.
Yeah, we've got our day shaping up to be pretty decent so far. And as mentioned, a couple of stray clouds out there. Otherwise, clear skies looking pretty fantastic. Of course, that's downtown Pittsburgh. MoDOT camera 20th in range line. You can see there's one of those stray clouds. There's a couple more over the Bel Air Center. Otherwise, again, it just looks great. Right now, temperature-wise, it's heating up. It's 83, does feel like 85. That dew point's up there, but the humidity not that high. Winds are calm. On to the Pittsburgh side, temperatures, again, heating up as well. 84 does feel a little hotter. 87, dew point humidity is up a little bit as well. You got a variable breeze at about 2 miles an hour, so not really noticeable. A little cooler Nevada sitting at 79. I know it's not cool, but compared to everyone else, we've got low 80s. As you head further west, we're starting to climb up into the mid 80s. We're eventually looking at highs, most of us into the upper 80s. We'll continue to drop back through the 70s, down to the mid 70s by 11. We've got pretty mild overnight temperatures tonight. Now tomorrow, temperatures don't climb significantly hotter than where we are now, but the humidity, dew point levels continue to climb, and that's going to lead to some other concerns. Details here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, a convicted killer and rapist who escaped from a medium security prison in Arkansas is back in custody and appeared before a judge on Tuesday. Grant Hardin pleaded not guilty to breaking out of a detention facility in Calico Rock in the north central part of the state. He made his court appearance via Zoom, and authorities say Hardin escaped by dressing up as law enforcement officers last month. He was recaptured 12 days after he broke free. Hardin was recently transferred to a Supermax prison in Gold, Arkansas. He is expected to go on trial on the escape charge in November. Repairs to a hangar damaged by a plane crash in Gardner, Kansas continue. At least 2 people were hurt after a plane crashed through the roof of an airport hangar near Kansas City, Missouri. This happened earlier this week at the New Century Airport in Gardner, Kansas. Photos from the scene showed the plane partially through the roof. Investigators say a left engine malfunction led to the crash. Authorities said the 2 people on board, the pilot and 1 passenger, were taken to an area hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. No one inside the hangar at the time of the crash was injured. An Iranian missile attack overnight struck civilian targets in Israel. It's the latest escalation of tensions between the two countries. Now, that could ratchet up even more if President Trump decides to allow U.S. forces to help strike a nuclear facility in Iran. Natalie Brandt has more details from the White House.
A missile from Iran struck the main hospital in southern Israel early Thursday, wounding people and causing major damage.
Several wards were completely demolished, and there is extensive damage across the entire hospital.
In response, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu ordered Israel's military to intensify attacks on Iranian targets, and Israel's defense minister said Iran's supreme leader should not continue to exist. At the White House, President Trump returns to the Situation Room this morning as the U.S. weighs whether to join Israel offensively.
CBS News has learned President Trump approved attack plans on Iran, but has not made a final decision, according to a senior intelligence source and defense official.
President Trump will do what's best for America. I trust his judgment. He's a tremendous friend, a tremendous world leader, a tremendous friend of Israel and the Jewish people. And we will do what we have to do, and we are doing it.
Sources say the president has held off in case Iran agrees to give up its nuclear program.
I like to make the final decision 1 second before it's due, because things change. I mean, especially with war.
The State Department has alerted U.S. citizens in Iran to leave now. The U.S. ambassador to Israel also posted on social media that American citizens wanting to evacuate Israel can sign up on the State Department's website as the U.S. organizes charter flights and cruise ships for evacuation. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Huckabee also warned American citizens living in Israel who have decided to stick close to a shelter and to not ignore warning sirens. Coming up, Freeman Health System and the Ozark Center celebrate the transformation of a youth recovery facility. And later, we're making lemonade frozen iced tea in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Well, if you visit downtown Pittsburgh, you'll see construction underway at the site of the historic Best Hotel. Now, in recent years, the building has become run down, but construction crews, including interns from Pitt State, are working to give the landmark new life. KOAM Samantha Walker gives us a look inside the Best Hotel and shares details on its future.
The Best Hotel is a historic Pittsburgh landmark, but if you were to walk through it right now, you need to be wearing one of these.
Right now we're standing in the southeast corner of the Best Hotel, building that's almost 100 years old. From what we've seen, this building wasn't probably 10 to 15 years from having some major structural issues before we started rehabbing it.
For the past 2 months, crews with Crossland Construction have been working at repairing the Best Hotel. It's part of the Guerrilla Rising project by Pittsburgh State University. Floors 2 through 13 at the Best will be turned into student housing, with 57 apartments and 62 beds. The lower level will offer a commercial space as well as the PSU Center for Reading and the Kansas Small Business Development Center.
We're framing walls for the apartments on 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Just a little bit happening on 6th. We're roughing in electric, plumbing, getting all the utilities into the spaces.
And working alongside the Crossland crew are PSU construction interns. As a former PSU Crossland intern himself, Dylan Halterman knows the importance of getting hands-on experience.
This job, you're getting exposed to a little bit of everything, and I think that's beneficial not only to me in growing in my career, but interns as well as they grow and become field engineers and project engineers.
And as Halterman helps guide new interns, he takes pride that at the same time, he gets to work on such a historic building.
When we just started this job, I got to be on it, and it's been a real honor to be on this and do something for Pittsburgh that they've done for me for 4 years. It's nice to just give a little something back.
And for PSU interns working on the project, it's a full circle moment, knowing their work will help students just like them.
I've told all my friends, there's like, hey, we're turning into student housing. And they're like, well, what's it called? I'll just say Guerrilla Rising. And they'll be like, oh, I'll have to move in there one day. So I'd talk it up a lot to all my friends.
And it'll be a lasting reminder of their hard work.
This is the first building you see whenever you walk or whenever you drive into Pittsburgh. And it's going to be really cool being able to drive through it in the future and being able to point at the biggest building in Pittsburgh saying, hey, I helped remodel that to my kids.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Construction at the Best Hotel is expected to be completed by August 2026. Well, ribbon cutting and a celebration for renovations at Turnaround Ranch in Joplin took place yesterday. The facility is aimed at young people who've struggled with emotional or mental health issues. It's to help give them the skills they need to express their emotions in ways that are both socially and culturally acceptable.
But the transformation was really about bringing the facilities up to the level of clinical care that we've always provided here, just to get a higher quality of living for these kids, because these kids come from some very difficult homes. They've probably never lived in a facility quite like this, and it's really good for their mental health.
Upgrades include renovation of single-family sized cottages, improved activity equipment, and more. Well, this is Precious Moments Chapel Day yesterday, celebrating the anniversary of the chapel's opening and dedication in 1989. Community members were invited to participate in family fun, including face painting, a passport adventure, scavenger hunt, and for the first time, storytime sessions held in the chapel itself. Well, still to come on KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
As it starts getting hotter week after week, we're all looking for ways to stay cool and hydrated. We have just the thing to help you out. We promise.
And we've got hot weather on the way and muggy conditions as well. Details on our first day of summer when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM News at noon, 12:15 now, and I usually tell you the time, but why not this time? All right, let's start with a look outside, because we're going to get hot here before too much longer. Some of you may be outside right now and going, what do you mean we're going to get hot? It's already hot. Well, unfortunately, summer itself doesn't start until tomorrow. So we're not quite to summer levels yet, and I know you're thinking, why? Why do we have to get to summer levels? Well, because it's the 4 states, and we just have to. Got a few clouds out there, otherwise not looking too bad. On the future track, right now, we're only showing future temperatures, because over the next several days, other than the couple of clouds we have today, leading into the weekend, nothing. We've got nothing but heat for us out there. So again, today we're going to make the upper 80s and maybe even a couple of low 90s out west. Overnight tonight, still a pretty mild night. Skies will be clear. Tomorrow, a couple of things start to take place. One, the wind increases out of the south, gusting upwards of 25 miles an hour, and that takes us by noon tomorrow. Instead of being in the low to mid 80s, we're going to be in the mid to upper 80s already. And that's ahead of highs crawling up into the low 90s. So yeah, compared to where we're going to get today, we're only talking 4 or 5 degrees warmer tomorrow. But that south wind is bringing in all that heat, all that moisture, all that humidity, all that unpleasant summer stuff, pulling it right in on top of us for our first day of summer, because we wouldn't really have it any other way. So here's what we do have that is the concern, is tomorrow starts where we're going to start seeing heat index values climbing. 100 to 105 will be possible as we go through our Friday. So you need to keep that in mind. Now, I know we haven't had an opportunity to mow the lawn in the last month and a half, it seems, and you may be wanting to catch up on some of that outdoor stuff this weekend. Not bad. It's going to be dry. It's going to be sunny. But with that said, you got to take appropriate precautions in the sun itself. But Saturday, temperatures Saturday, our highs, not that dissimilar from Friday, but all that moisture that's been pulled in, Saturday looks to be the better day where heat index values are more likely to be close to 105, maybe a little above. So you've got to make sure you're taking appropriate precautions. We go into Sunday, we bring it down just a hair on the humidity levels out there and the dew point levels. So even though we're still hot again on Sunday, back into the upper 80s, low 90s, those heat index values will still be hanging out at 100 to 105. And that is going to be the case as we roll into next week as well. So for today, our heat risk, which we haven't seen this colorful map in a while, is minor. It's there, but it's minor because we do have a slight heat index. It's not going to be significant. Tomorrow, though, it increases to moderate across the areas. We start to get closer to that 100, 105 degree range. By Saturday, though, we have a major risk across most of the area because, again, we're going to be at that 105, maybe a little above. And that continues into Sunday. We look at Monday, and I think this goes all the way to Tuesday. We see some slight improvements, but not much. So we're here. Heat-related illness is possible. Those that are a little more susceptible, this becomes an issue. Heat exhaustion and possibly heat stroke. So you just want to make sure you keep that in mind as we head into the weekend and next week. All right, again, upper 80s today. We got that light and variable wind or even calm winds. Clear skies tonight, south breeze 5 to 10, back into the low 70s. Tomorrow, as we mentioned, low 90s, bit breezy, south winds gusting to 25. Now next week, we hang on to the upper 80s, low 90s, similar to what we're experiencing now and into the weekend. But But you see all those little thunderstorm chances. This isn't you got to cancel your whole week. This is, now we're in the season also for the daytime heating storms. The ones show up late afternoon, early evening. They pop up, they're there 30 minutes, they don't move much, but that's what we're looking at next week. So just remember, when thunder roars, head indoors. Just keep an eye to the sky.
Absolutely, Chris, thanks. Well, stick around. We're making lemony frozen iced tea in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. We'll be right back. Well, today's Mr. Food recipe is a great way to stay cool during the summer. Howard is making lemony frozen iced tea in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
With the weather getting hotter, we're looking for ways to stay cool and hydrated. With that said, we came up with a fun spin on iced tea that I think you're going to love. The first thing we want to do is bring a pot of water to a boil. Once it does, we toss in some tea bags and let that steep for a bit. After the tea is just the right strength, out come the tea bags and we add some sugar, fresh lemon juice, and give it a stir until the sugar dissolves. After this cools for a bit, we'll pour it into a 9x13 dish and pop it in the freezer to set up. By now you might be saying to yourself, where is he going with this? Okay, let me show you. At this point, we take a fork and begin shaving our frozen lemony iced tea, like this. Think of this as the freshest tasting snow cone ever. And when you serve this in glasses as a fun summery change of pace dessert, or as a way to beat the steaming hot days of summer, I know you'll be saying, now this makes sense. To get the recipe for what we call lemony frozen iced tea, simply visit our website. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a refreshingly icy way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
You can find the recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Now let's take a look at the 4-state market prices.
All right, remember, we're going to start heating up today and into the weekend. Do have that potential for those heat index values to kind of get up there into the triple-digit range. Just make sure you're staying hydrated, taking precautions. And next week, just keep an eye to the sky for those pop-up storms.
Absolutely, Chris. Thanks. And coming up tonight at 5, your environment could be key to your recovery. We're going to take a look at how income and neighborhood could affect how stroke patients recover. Plus, Juneteenth celebrations kick off in the 4 states. We'll take a look. And Freeman Health System celebrates its 100th anniversary with a rededication ceremony. You can join us for those stories and more on KOAM News at 5. That's the news for now. Thank you for joining us on KOAM News at noon. Have a great rest of your day.